Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review. And this movie review is going to be for none other than not a new movie, for a certain film from DC that came out 5 years ago that got its follow up from James Gunn that came out this week. And you're wondering, when should you be reviewing that movie? Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm about to. So to prep for it. I have decided to rewatch the 2016 movie to make my rant of it because I think without Justice Week, this one would have to be the worst DCU movie out there. Yeah, so here's the little story. I saw this in theaters with a friend of mine for her birthday back in 2016, and at the time, I thought it was decent. There were a lot of nitpicks here and there, but I thought it was decent. However, when I got this movie on DVD, the more and more we watch it, the more and more I dislike it. So yeah, now it's officially the worst DCU movie. That's originally went to Justice League, the Joss Whedon cut, but now that the Zack Snyder cut has been officially released, that Justice Week no longer thankfully exists. So now this movie is at number one for the worst DCU movie ever. Yeah, no offense to those who probably do like this movie, but I think it is. So, it's the exact opposite of what David I originally envisioned. Like, how this happened was when Batman vs Superman was released, it didn't meet expectations and it was negatively received by critics. But however, a lot of fans loved it, and I personally like Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Well, the Ultimate Edition, anyways. The Ultimate Edition is the version we should have got. Instead, we got an PG-13 version of the movie. Like, we should have got the Ultimate Cut. The Ultimate Cut, people would have been way nicer to it. I mean, yeah, it'd be 3 hours long, but come on. Lord of the Rings is 3 hours long, Avengers Endgame was 3 hours long. What's the difference? So yeah, we ended up getting a really messy cut of this movie, and it was received even worse by people. However, that didn't stop the movie from making money. No, it made $746 million worldwide. So anyway, what is the movie about? Well, it feels good to be bad. Assemble a team of the world's most dangerous, incarcerated supervillains. Provide them with the most powerful arsenal at the government's disposal, and set them off on a mission to defeat an enigmatic, insuperable entity named Enchantress. U.S. intelligence officer Amanda Waller has determined only a secret convened group of disparate, despicable individuals with next to nothing to lose will do. However, once they realize they weren't picked to succeed, but chosen for their patient compatibility, when they inevitably fall, will the Suicide Squad result in die trying, or decide it's every man for himself? Yeah, that's what the movie's about. So yeah. Here are all the bad qualities of this movie. Well, there's executive meddling. Like I've already mentioned, like based on the initial reveal trailer, it was supposed to have a dark tone similar to all the other DC extended universe to me, but after all the SJWs criticized Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice for being way too dark, positive reception towards Marvel's Deadpool, as well as the trailers, Warner Bros. Mandated a large amount of changes and reshoots to make the movie closer to the trailers. In fact, Warner Bros. Decided to have the studio that made the following trailers, just known mostly for music videos, recut the movie in a very rushed way. As a result, the movie released in theaters hardly resembles the movie that David Ayer wanted to direct. In fact, Ayer felt his cut had never been seen. The initial reveal trailer displaying this vision was intended to be a soulful drama, was beaten by WB into a comedy movie. Yeah, they basically tried way too hard to be like Guardians of the Galaxy, pun intended, because, well, James Gunn would go on to direct the next one. And that failed miserably at it. There was abysmal editing that constantly jumps from scene to scene with zero flow as if it were a music video. A waste of great concept and a group of supervillains begrudgingly team up to fight a greater threat. The idea of having criminals as anti-heroes could have been good, but just save the world from some generic world-ending threat like every other regular superhero. There's too much exposition. The main characters are even introduced like 3 times. Well, the important characters just round appear with zero introduction and barely any backstory. For that matter, most characters in the movie are even useless and underutilized to the point they feel like afterthoughts. Like, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and El Diablo are the only characters in the movie with any sort of character development, and there isn't much interaction between the other characters either. Like, for example, Slipknot appears in this movie. He has no character development whatsoever, and he gets blown up at the very start of the squad's mission less than 10 minutes after his introduction. This doesn't even foreshadow due to him never even appearing in the trailers, so he was useless. Katana randomly walks in mid-movie, is given a one-sentence backstory by Rick Flag, and then does next to nothing for the rest of the movie. Captain Boomerang only throws 3 boomerangs in this movie, and then one of them comes back after being thrown. Rick Flag is a generic soldier guy, whose only defined trait is that he's dating Enchantress's human host. Killer Croc's only contribution is just swimming underwater for a few seconds of screen time, and often goes for over 20 minutes without a single line of dialogue. This is a prison guard named Griggs, who's established as abusive to the squad members. He's forced Child to be punished for his abusive actions, but is then randomly disposed of with zero payoff. And Amanda Waller is so incompetent. The team she assembled is mostly unqualified to deal with otherworldly threats, and Enchantress's rampage was entirely her own fault. Now all she does for the rest of the movie is try to cover up her involvement with Enchantress. And speaking of Enchantress, Enchantress is a generic and unconvincing villain with a really vague plan. In fact, she just kind of dances whenever her dance is supposed to be threatening for some reason, and it's not. It's stupid. Due to production problems, the script was written in just 6 weeks, and so the plot feels rushed and confusing with major plot holes. It tells us a squad is formed in order to fight a threat, but they have to battle Enchantress, who is supposed to be part of the squad, but she betrays them after the squad was already established, and we never get to know the threat the squad was intended to fight. Manowar's motivation for creating this squad was to have them take down threats that the now-deceased Superman was originally supposed to handle, since, well, this is set after Superman died at the time of Adversary of Dawn Justice, but then he'd get revived. However, none of the cats have any special powers, making them completely unqualified to fight a Superman-level threat. The squad members don't trust anyone, even try to get each other killed to start of the mission. Then they randomly become close friends with no character development whatsoever, and work as a team with zero build-up towards each other than the scene in the bar. Emma came to bring the villains to Waller so they could fight the threat. Wouldn't it make more sense if Batman fought the threat, or at least joined or led them? Although Batman does appear a few times in this movie, and he's one of the few saving graces of this movie, well, his cameos anyway. The Joker was even hyped in advertising. Oh, the Joker. Well, before Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, they hyped the Joker and it made him seem like he'd be the main antagonist. Yet he was just a minor character with little relevance to the plot. If it seems to be kind of forced reduction, plus Jared Leto's portrayal of the Joker in this movie, in the studio interfered version, was underwhelming. He's more like an edgy wannabe gangster than a sane sociopath. He tended to meth act like Heath Ledger did in The Dark Knight, but he failed miserably at it in this version. In fact, many critics thought he took himself too seriously, for a character who barely takes himself seriously. But however, thankfully, Zack Snyder's Justice League redeemed his version of the Joker, so I guess that's a bonus. Movies overused popular songs don't even fit in the situation or tone of the movie. Like, you don't only place an introduction to Harley Quinn, even though she wears a jacket labeled Property of the Joker. At least 3 different songs are used in the first 10 minutes. Despite the it's clear those songs were just shoehorned because the trailers used them too and were well received, and because of the popularity of Guardians of the Galaxy. In fact, this whole movie tries way too hard to be Guardians of the Galaxy, and it fails at it. Seriously, the Guardians of the Galaxy. No, the Suicide Squad members are not the Guardians of the Galaxy. They are completely different characters, okay? Despite being convicts, the squad members are barely characterized as being evil or even anti-heroic, and constantly have to point out they're just evil to remind the audience they're evil. Like, too, there's so much cartoonish-looking CGI, neon-heavy visuals, too. Despite being rated PG-13, Harley Quinn's backstory gets too disturbing for a PG-13 movie. In fact, many critics felt this movie should have been R-rated. In fact, yeah, if this movie were rated R, it would be better. However, like I said, James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie is thankfully rated R and violent, and has no studio interference. So at least that's a good sign. In most incarnations, the Joker treats Harley as a meaningless safe, but this one, their relationship is heavily romanticized with the Joker, spending most of the movie trying to rescue Harley, which is very jarring. And at the very end of the movie, all the surviving squad members except for Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, and Katana are all back in prison. And Amanda Waller is still a corrupt government official. So the whole movie is just pointless since nothing changed from the beginning. So yeah, thank you for making that ending and making this whole movie a joke. If you're gonna end it like that. and only end with Harley Quinn being freed. Well, technically, Harley Quinn isn't really freed. She gets bailed out by Joker. And, like, it seems like Joker died in this movie, but no, gotcha, he's still alive. Like, that was pretty damn obvious. Yeah, like, yeah, when I saw that in theaters when Joker appeared at the very last scene of the movie, like, everyone was like, whatever, we knew that was gonna happen. That was really not, like, that was really not a shock. Like, you could tell he was still alive. You can't just kill Joker. Well, maybe Batman 1989, but he always comes back in the comics, either way. But there are some good qualities, I will say that, of this movie. Despite this being the worst DCU movie. Deadshot and El Diablo have touching backstories on paper, even the execution wasn't that great, and the cast is actually pretty good, with the exception of Cara Delevingne, who was terrible as Enchantress, easily, I agree with that. And even the often questioned Jai Courtney, who, by the way, played in the worst Die Hard movie ever as John McClane's son, and did such a terrible performance in Good Day to Die Hard, actually gave a pretty good performance as Captain Boomerang, and was actually pretty hilarious as a character. Yeah, Jai Courtney actually was also one of the few saving graces of this film. I will say that. And Merciless Katana, played by Karen Bakura, even if Katana doesn't really do much in this movie. In fact, Jai Courtney's performance was actually so well received by fans, it ended up being one of the few cast members that's going to be coming back in James Gunn's 2021 soft reboot. And Margaret Robbie was a good choice for Harley Quinn. And so much that, like, no, I don't think anyone else could play her better in DCU than Margaret Robbie. So basically, she received a spin-off in the form of Birds of Prey. However, Birds of Prey barely felt like a Harley Quinn movie. In fact, that should not have been called Birds of Prey. It should have been called Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, not Birds of Prey, because it was not even about Birds of Prey. Whatever. Despite being raised, spin, and kind of miscast, Will Smith actually does a great job as Deadshot. This movie portrays him as a sympathetic father rather than a low-key, selfless assassin who just wants to see a daughter again and cares much about her. An amazing soundtrack composed by Stephen Price, and some good songs like Sucker for Praying, Heathens, and Purple Lamborghini being the most notable. The acting is pretty decent despite the poor CGI dark places, and the makeup effects weren't even that bad. In fact, it would win the Academy Award for Best Hair and Makeup. That's quite an achievement, but unfortunately this meant Deadpool would be snubbed from any Academy Award nominations, so yeah, for some reason. The trailers are amazing, along with the Comic-Con version that featured David Ayer scenes that were not found in the final film because stupid Warner Brothers edited them out, like they always do with Zack Snyder's work. Sound familiar? And like with Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, after Zack Snyder's Justice League got released, David Ayer's original cut, dubbed the Ayer Cut, received a huge amount of fan support after Zack Snyder's Justice League was released. However, I don't think we're going to get that cut. I don't think that cut even exists. So yeah. However, and it wouldn't matter, because guess what? We have that James Gunn movie now for our R-rated Suicide Squad. And apparently, from what I've heard, it's way better. It's actually one of the best, if not the best, DCAU movie from what I'm hearing. So yeah, gonna be seeing it this week, and I'm gonna be reviewing it, and I cannot wait to do so. But anyway, yeah. Well, that's it for my review for the garbage Guardians of the Galaxy lazy ripoff of this movie. First one's worst Suicide Squad's finally done, and here's how I will rank it. I am going to give Suicide Squad 2016 a 4 out of 10. Alright, there we go. And with that, we are officially ready for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Now that we covered the first one out of the way, now, with James Gunn's movie, we can finally see how the movie should have been in 2016. The movie we should have got. So yeah, I will be ready to review that movie. I just decided to review this one to get ready for it. So yeah, with all that being said, while this movie is still better than Justice League, it would still be, if you did not include Joss Whedon's cut, this would be the worst. Number one worst. And you guys can all say Birds of Prey is the number one worst DCU movie. I respect opinions on that, guys, but Birds of Prey at least is entertaining to watch, and at least Birds of Prey was R-rated. Like, the R rating, Margaret Robbie's Harley Quinn, and Ewan McGregor saves Birds of Prey for me, even if Ewan McGregor's character has such a shitty death. Like, that's the thing with all the Harley Quinn movies. They always give the most lesser-known Batman villains shitty deaths. Like this movie, you got Slipknot, who gets such a crap send-off, and just quick. And you got Black Mask, who gets such a dumb send-off without even a fight by getting a grenade shoved in his butt and kicked off a bridge and blowing to pieces in the water. So I really hope the Suicide Squad doesn't do this. It better not. But anyway, oh yeah, and this Mr. Pickle guy I got. Carnivals came back to my area, so I played a basketball game and I won this guy. So yeah, that's how I got him. Pretty cool, hey? But anyway, that'll be it for this video. Thank y'all for watching, and if you like this and want to see more, hey, don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.